Hey there, everybody. That was an exciting 5 minutes, actually. We uh, we just got a whole truckload of wood chips. The camera angle makes it look shorter than me, but if I was standing level with it, it's about as tall as I am. So the pile is about 5.5, 5 foot 8 inches high, and about 10 paces either way. Ah, 5 paces either way. So about 10 feet by 10 feet by 5 3/4 feet. It's a big pile. It was a full truck, um, probably 16 to 20 yards if I had to guess. But that's not all. We also got our Fedco order in during the time that the chips were coming down. There was a little bit of a stop up in our yard. So we have some Bristol black raspberries, 5 cuttings of those. We have some Nelson blackberries. We have a new run of Apios americana. That is the groundnut. It's like a nutty, potatoey, starchy running tuber. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we also got some Ann raspberries. And I was looking at some of our plants last night, and I started laughing because my aunt's name is Ann. And now I have a whole bunch of Anns on my property. And my mother's name is Mary, and that is the cultivar of Seaberry way back there. That is the one that survived last year. So I am now on the lookout for things that have cultivars named in any particular order: Brian, Tony, John, Marianne, Lou, Mark, Kevin, Juliana, or Oliver, or Alyssa. I might just go with some sweet alyssum for that one because that's nice and easy, and it's a plant that I don't have. But we're gonna stick these guys in the ground real quick because while FedEx and the tree crew were dropping off these 2 packages of joy, the local library called and told me that my book by Sepp Holzer is ready for pickup as well. So we're gonna get these guys in the ground. We're gonna water them up real nice and deep with some water from the duck pond, and then we're going to go to the most permaculture kind of government establishment, your local library. Back in a tick. So we are currently up front. The dog is watching us from his favorite position. My first and foremost goal was to use half of the plants, but it ended up being 2 or 3 of each specific one. And you can see we have the blackberries right here, and then the Hasscaps, which are from the video the other day. And then we have our black cap raspberries in here. 1, 2, and 3. And then this will be kind of a thicket area that'll provide berries for the neighbors, but will also be able to be dug every fall so that we can get transplants. And then we move over here, and here are our golden raspberries. It's 1 and 2. There are some red raspberries growing in here as well as on the other side of that tricolor willow. And so there should be plenty of cross-pollination. We should be able to take clonal cuttings and take fruit that we don't eat and use that for genetic variability. But I'll show you guys where the other ones are going next. Hang tight. So we're up just ahead of the wood line. Here's one of my white pines. You can tell because it's got 5 needles in each little cluster. So we're up here in the uphill food forest area. There's the berm and the laneway between our property and the neighbor's property. You can see the hascap right here, and in this area with the leaf litter we have like a triangle of trees, and this was a leaf catch. We've actually got a young pine coming up here, so this leaf catch here is now the home of a couple of these black raspberries. There's another one in here too. Right here. Boop. Cover them back up. Might get cold in the next couple of days. And so we have those folks in here. The blackberries are going to bring up the rear of this bed. I'm going to grab up my trowel right now. You can still see it's been scuffed a little bit, but you can kind of see where I sharpened it up. Put edges on like all my tools, guys. Really saves time. But the blackberries will be right here. This is kind of that first thing that the animals hit when they come up from this gully pass in between our yard and the neighbor's yard. And so we have 1 blackberry, 2 blackberry, 3 blackberry to just kind of make a corner and kind of deflect some of the browse. Each of these has also been associated with the Apios americana. You know, there's still a debate about how much use the nitrogen fixers do when we are doing these sorts of gardens, but I need a ground cover in here. The strawberries are not out competing the sorrels that are under this leaf litter, and so I'm hoping that the Apios will be a little bit more aggressive. And then we're going to come around this side, past the bee yard. And I'll show you guys where the last of those raspberries went. So we have this patch here. I've been building brush piles as things fall and as we knock things over, but you can see all of these wild raspberries wanting to grow in this little spot, and it's only gotten more and more of a presence since we have started doing these brush piles. I'm probably going to come in and knock these guys back just to thicken them up. They never really produce very heavily, but the golden raspberries will start their journey here in this location right next to them, because I have an idea that the soil right here before it drops off into the woods is somewhere that the raspberries are going to like. And so this kind of methodology that we're using, where yeah, I have all of this woodland that I could be planting some of these in, but money is dear. Capitalism is not exactly my favorite thing, even though I do participate in that kind of marketplace. But I have to make these plants count. I have to clone them where I can so that I can save my money and use that for getting new species on the property, or having other items that I can be working with. We'll be giving 2 of the raspberries to our friends, but I think if you have a grassy field like this, I think before you start trying to plant too many things back there, right, use this so that you have your zone 1 and 2, maybe even 3 in the case of like the edge of the property over there. But if you're able to capitalize on the space that is getting the most of your attention and use it to multiply the plants, you're going to have a higher efficiency for when you do have those pulses, and it won't be as dire a loss or as great a loss if you're able to just make more, right? We're not dumping our initial investment back into the woods. I can do that for things that I can take cuttings of freely at this point. But for the items that are new to us or that I am less familiar with, doing it in a way where the management is front of mind and easy to perform means that I can devote a better attention to learning the plants, learning what they like and don't like, and can make a better overall decision when they do get pulsed out to the woods. So, those are our thoughts today. I had a thought the other day, and I'll put it out here now. One of the things that I try really hard not to do, and I don't know if this is really a positive or a negative, but I try not to rehash things that are permaculture staples. Some of this channel is family who aren't into that. Some of this is neighbors who are more about the ducks and chickens, and I love all of you coming and visiting. I love you guys commenting, reaching out to us, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, on Reddit, over email, in person. We appreciate all of you, but if you guys would like more content about how we approach these things, that's definitely something I can do. And I am considering having a time to sit down at the computer, possibly during the next set of rainstorms where it's too cold for me to want to be outside very long, and possibly going over some of our maps and how we do some of these things. So if that seems interesting to you, we'd appreciate you guys reaching out, letting us know if you'd be interested in that, or if there are some topics you'd like us to cover in greater detail. We're still working on more and more in the woods, and we'll be showing you guys that as soon as I have fewer than 5 million projects. So, as always, thanks for watching. Happy planting.